Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. If you like making money, if you want to invest and look for undervalued investment opportunities, click subscribe. I'm putting a lot of stuff, a lot of information, a lot of financial education on this channel. I do lots of technical analysis, some fundamental analysis, and then I try tying it all together. What my thesis kind of is when you've got a real estate market, we go into an expansionary phase. It is inflationary. You can look at history and verify all that. That inflation goes up. It pushes interest rates or pulls interest rates higher, and that spurs a rotation of money between sectors. We're going from investing in the undervalued sectors where that money will eventually rotate into, pushing the prices of that sector higher. So here we're looking at long-term charting. Long-term charting gives us information about markets. When you have this big picture view, you're not looking at the day-to-day movements. You're looking at the big picture saying, hey, look, we're going to have a massive breakout here that could potentially move quite substantially. If you know that information, you can make better, well-informed investment decisions with your portfolios. And that's the whole point that we do this long-term charting. Long-term charting, if you look at charts, it's just a psychological containment that the herd of everyone in this system puts on it. It's a price level that everyone sells at. It's a price point that everyone buys at. Doesn't matter the reasoning. It just matters that a lot of people are continually buying or selling stocks at certain price levels, which eventually create a chart pattern. Those patterns are what we look for, and those patterns can decipher potential investment opportunities and investment entry points for everyone that's looking and doing the work to look at this stuff. So I'm doing the work. I'm doing this stuff for everyone on the channel. I'm doing it for myself as well. I am an investor, and we're looking at the long-term charts of a bunch of different commodities. So let's jump in and look at these charts and try to decipher what they're telling us. So one thing I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind is bigger chart, bigger move. I always try to get the big picture perspective to ensure we capture the big move. The bigger the chart, the bigger the move. And these charts that I'm charting here, they're on a log scale. So this is log scale charting that I'm doing. I'm just letting you know that before we jump into it. And a log scale just means that this distance, 10, is a factor of $1 to $10, and then 10 to 100 is the same factor, that same movement of 10. So this is silver, the price of silver over time. We have a large pattern here. This is massive, all the way back to 1940. We're bouncing off this trend line here, and we come up, we made a sharp turn where the sellers overtook the buyers, sold off, back to the trend line, came up, back to the trend line, dipped just below it, and then shot higher. Created another, remember there's psychological containment here. So we had buyers again, pulled on back. And we're creating this massive, massive, massive pattern. And what is going to get very interesting is if we break this pattern up here, this could be a massive launching pad for silver to the upside, just massively. So to me, this chart pattern looks absolutely fantastic. Now, you could also say that you see another pattern in here. You have a lead in, a cup, and then a handle pattern that's developing. This is above the halfway point, so it does qualify for a cup and handle pattern. And we could be coming up and breaking this big pattern here. How high this thing's going to go, I don't even want to project because on a logarithmic scale, it's way off this chart. It's multi-$100. So I don't want to sit here and try to claim that we're going to get a multi-$100 silver price. What I am telling you is it's possible. It's possible, but I'm not calling for it. But I'm a very big believer in silver. And this chart is also a believer in higher silver prices. So this is a very bullish chart that I see here. You can look at it, whichever way you look at it, you could say it's consolidating and coiling up on a gigantic 50, 60-year chart pattern here where this thing's going to blow to the upside and probably do some pretty incredible things. So that's silver. Now gold. This is gold chart. This is what I think it may do. I drew this line in here where it contacted this guy and this guy as a high. I've got another, you could draw one down here too if you wanted to. We pulled on up, came across, and we created this kind of upward channel going on right now. We could say that this guy here's the cup and handle pattern that's forming, and that eventually will break to the upside. And potentially, if we break this upper channel here, that we could go all the way to this upper channel. And this could jive with a $10,000 gold price. And that kind of makes sense. That makes sense. Makes some sense to hit $10,000 gold and for silver to be a rocket ship and shoot out of this pattern here. So that makes some sense. It jives. Now here's platinum. This is the platinum price. We've got a gigantic channel forming right here. And we went right to the bottom of this channel, and we're hugging the bottom of the channel. This is where I was going berserk on platinum, because I was like, this channel is going to hold. We broke to the downside, and I just kept buying because the cost curves of platinum, you were below the medium cost curves at, I'd say, about 800. So down here was just free platinum. That had to go higher. So it went higher, and here we are moving on higher. I think this could potentially hit the top of this channel quite easily, and that's probably like a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 price of platinum, depending on where it hits it. Now, if it breaks to the upper side of this channel, you might see some fireworks. I don't know. Here's palladium, the channel it's doing. You can draw this channel in here, draw on the lower channel. It's been bouncing back and forth between the upper channel and the lower channel. I think we're going to go all the way up, probably above, here's 3,000. We might hit 4,000 up here where this upper channel is. Very possible. And remember, platinum is a substitute for palladium. So if palladium's at 4,000, platinum could easily go and run up against its pattern way up here at about 4,000, 5,000. So I see that as a good possibility. Here's oil. Now, oil looks very interesting here. I went all the way back to the 40s. I charted the tops here and the bottoms here. This thing's basically playing out very well. We've got to move up, sideways movement, hit the bottom of the channel. This would have been a great buying opportunity here. Just hold on. It peaked up here. You could maybe even draw another channel through here. Came back to the bottom of this channel, and now we're moving on up. And I think if we break kind of this resistance area here, that we could see a pretty nice big move to the upside. Maybe it'll even hit all the way up to the top here. And people are going to say $1,000 oil. Yeah, right. I have no idea. All right. If inflation comes and oil is the biggest inflation hedge, inflation would be driving it, not necessarily supply and demand. Now, draw this through here, and maybe we come up through here up to about here, which is a couple $100 oil price. Either one of those, I could be convinced of saying a price projection. So I think anywhere from 200 to 1,000, I don't know where it's going to end up. But at the end of the bull market, those are both possibilities. Both possibilities. Now here's natural gas. We've been kind of moving sideways in this downward sloping channel. Again, you can't really go too much lower than this because you hit zero. So it's got to come eventually and break this upper trend line at some point when inflation comes and when the supply demand for natural gas moves on up. This was the last bull market from about 98 all the way to 2008 was the peak there. And remember, natural gas also, the supply demand fluctuates quite rapidly with natural disasters or hurricanes, all that kind of stuff. So here's copper. Now, copper looks really interesting because if you look at it from this perspective, you've got this cool long-term chart. It broke this pattern here, popped up, and was in this channel for a very long period of time, 65 all the way to 2005. So we've got this upper channel here. It blew through it. We have that 2008 crash, but came right back up. Structurally, it had to be higher. So the price structurally was in here, kind of chilling at the top of this massive upward sloping channel. So it was up there for a while. Came all the way back and back tested. Did it multiple times. And again, so this is one back test, two back test, back test, and then we had this downward trend line that it broke to the upside. This move could be massive. One of these big moves here from the bottom all the way up. So I don't know what this is going to go all the way up to. I could throw ridiculous numbers at you. It depends on inflation. It depends on a lot of things. But it makes sense when you tie in what we know about renewables, what we know about the infrastructure that needs to be created, that we're building more and more homes in the world that need copper for the lighting in the home, for the electricity. So it makes sense. And if we're going to massively increase copper, the price is going to have to go up to incentivize a lot more new copper mines to come online. So this does make sense. And I always bounce it off of common sense and the fundamentals. So this one looks absolutely fantastic to do a very large move. Now, I'm not saying that this is just going to go straight up. I don't know the path. We could be doing one of these things all over the place as it goes back and forth on a path higher. I don't know the path, but I do think it's going to go higher. And here's nickel. Nickel looks like it's doing a basing thing. Nice big move up. There's some resistance kind of through here. Looks like there was a lot of sellers up here before. And then we had support coming back down, support coming back down. There's a lot of buyers and sellers in this area. So I think it's going to be a little bit sticky in here. And once we break through this, whatever it looks like, I think nickel will move on higher eventually. It may take some years even. Just this is about patience. So I wanted to go through kind of the major metals here: copper, nickel, oil, the precious metals. They look very good. And what I'm looking for is big chart break patterns. Copper did the big chart break. That's kind of a leader. Platinum broke its massive chart pattern. Those are two pretty good leaders. I think silver's a little bit of a laggard. If it breaks that big, if it breaks $50, man, we are going to get paid. That's a big pattern. That's a 60-year pattern that it's going to have some fireworks. So I'm watching these things. I'm investing accordingly. I think the market conditions are behind us. I think the inflation is going to come. It comes from the expansion phase of real estate, which ties it all together with these charts. So I think commodities, eventually, the ones that we looked at here, are going to all go far, far higher to land far away from the prices that they're currently at today. And if you're patient enough and you're looking out 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid to just invest and wait. That's how I know. That's how I know how to make money. Now, you don't have to put all your money in this stuff, guys. You can diversify out some. Healthcare, I think, is going to be another good area. You can buy some technology stocks. I'm not anti-technology. There is value there, and the adoption curves, the S curves of new technology, and with the speed of information that things get around, their S curves are compressed. So technology companies can make a lot of money very quickly because the information of something that is good flows so quickly. So we do have different markets today than back in, say, like the 1910s when information was kind of stuck. So things are being adopted very quickly, very rapidly, and I do think some technologies are good. So you don't have to go all or nothing. I do have a lot of my money tied up in commodities. I also have other healthcare and other stuff that I do invest in. So I just want to make that clear as well. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what your guys' opinion are. Leave it in the comment section, please. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.